One. Welcome everyone, here we go again. It's Pat and Tuck with the Leatherman Jacket Podcast coming at you. Here we go again, guys. Awesome to be back. Fun fact right now, Tuck and Pat are in the same room. Tuck's a little sick right now. He's got some things he's taking care of on the work front because, believe it or not, we do not get paid for all the valiant information we give you. But we're here doing it because we love you and we love football. But guess what, guys? The Combine is back and better than ever. No Rich Eisen run yet, but it's coming. So without further ado, let's get ready to break this down. Billy Price, the center from the Ohio State University, tearing that pectoral muscle and out of here, just like a Giancarlo Stanton home run. Baseball's back too, guys. Check out for that. But we're talking football right now. 30, and by the way, have you seen the big boys bench? God, it's impressive.
Oh, it's a doozy.
It is a doozy. We got our boy from Willie Hernandez, Tuck's favorite from the University of Texas, El Paso, right by. Shout out to my Fort Bliss people out there, doing 37 reps of the bench press, and man, I'm great to see it right now.
And I gotta say one thing here. Obviously, you can sounds like I'm sick. It's because I am. But I mentioned him in our first episode when we were talking about the Senior Bowl because he did really well there, and now he's backed up that performance with the bench press, which is a huge measurement for linemen. So I really shouldn't be talking. But if you don't know who Will Hernandez is yet, go look him up.
Yeah, he could be that swing lineman that kind of nibbles his way into the late first round or early second round. I'm pretty impressed with him. We also had the running backs come out. Saquon Barkley and Nicholas Chubb throwing up 29 reps in the bench press. Thoroughly impressed. I do the bench press. I consider myself somewhat of I guess I'm an athlete. My job requires me to do stuff. I pick things up. I put it down. I make sure that really nice people over in really nice countries do their job, So I guess I'm an athlete, I'm whatever I am. But
if you have a body, you're an athlete. Nike.
Yeah, pretty much, guys. If you have a body, you're an athlete. Shameless Nike plug right there. But speaking of clothing, guys, Tuck has always told me I should wear pants. Well, you know what? I just thought our sponsor should be shirts because I love wearing shirts and everyone should wear shirts. So without further ado, thank you for putting on our sponsor right now is Kilo Charlie Clothing. Kilo Charlie Clothing is a veteran-operated company out of St. Louis, American name. If you want to check them out, they're www.kilocharlie.com. Send them a message on Facebook. Type in Kilo Charlie on Facebook. They also got some pretty funny YouTube videos. They got some pandas. They got some beer. They do some things, guys. They do some things. So without further ado, guys, big shout out, veteran-owned, combat veteran-owned, Kilo Charlie Clothing. And don't forget, guys, be the operator, man. Tactical Panda is what they do, and they do it great. I got a couple shirts, but man, I am just so stoked that football is back. Football is back. Football is back. And
this is our time. I got to interrupt. I got to interject. I'm sorry, But man, just being able to see these highlights, in prime time, the reruns of the combines. I got a little frustrated that they were the reruns and the workouts had not yet started. But just to hear all these great interviews, to hear John Gruden getting interviewed, and gosh, I can't even project into the mic. But just if you check out NFL Network, check out NFL.com, and just look at all that great content, because if you listen to us from start to finish, then you're going to love that kind of stuff. So you might think to yourself, oh, I'll never go to NFL.com because I just hear the stories all the time through social media, whatever it is, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. But on NFL.com, that's where you actually do get the real details, what's really happening and in the most real time. So Pat, why don't you just talk a little bit more about some of the players we like and some of the storylines of the day?
Well, Will Hernandez is a guy that, Tuck, you've been very high on. And personally, to see him come out, put up a good 37 reps, A lot of people put too much stock in the bench press. A lot of people put too little stock in the bench press. And the way I view the bench press is what's the question? How much do you bench, right? And it's always good versus the O-line versus D-line when the O-linemen fire their arms out. You want to have good, strong triceps, a good, strong upper chest, and whatnot. But if you're working out, you're going to have a good bench press, right? Because your shoulders, your arms, your triceps all encompass so much of that exercise. So that being said, Willie Hernandez shows that he's in the gym. He's training hard, throwing up 37 reps on the bench press. Now, if he goes out and runs a 5.440, probably not the best thing out there. But either way, good on him. Smaller school prospects have to perform here. A bigger school prospect doesn't really have to perform as well on the bench press. Now, that being said, you're putting up 2 reps on 225 and you're a guard. Not the best thing for you. But let's not forget, Christian McCaffrey last year, he put up, 6 to 8 reps, I can believe, and he still went number 8. So I guess his problem is he put up too many reps, because if he put up less, he would have been drafted at that number, because I believe he was drafted at number 8. So maybe my logic's a little wrong there, but in the end, benches and everything, of course. And if we're going to switch it over to basketball, Kevin Durant couldn't bench 185 and went number 2 overall.
And the NBA has gotten rid of that metric altogether.
They did?
Yeah. So we'll get some NBA guys on when we're closer to the end of their regular season and closer to March Madness. But and I don't know what the exact number was for Christian McCaffrey, whether it was 7 or 8.
It was 8.
Okay, so it was 8.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm looking at NFL.com right here. Just because they're trying to get me to watch a video, but they're saying, here's why it's so important for running backs to run a sub 4.540. I mean, we all do. Christian McCaffrey could do that before he even left school. And then, I mean, but in terms of things like that, like that's why I think the Saquon Barkley out of Penn State. I know, Pat, you've been a big Penn State guys for us going back for almost probably more than 10 years.
2007.
Jerry,
fun fact, Barkley, yeah. Jerry Sandusky was still at the camp when I was there. Didn't touch me.
Let's not dive too much detail into that, but you got to play down some of those practice fields.
I like Saquon Barkley. He can catch out of the backfield. He can return kicks, return punts, hard-nosed runner. I'd like to see him go to the Giants. And that depends what the Giants want to do. Do they like Davis Webb? Do they want to go Josh Rosen? Do they want to trade down? But mind you this, New York, if you trade down, there's no Josh Rosen or Saquon Barkley for you guys. So, Dave Gettleman, I doubt you're listening to me, but let's be sure if we're very comfortable not having Saquon Barkley or Josh Rosen. And I'm really excited to see those guys throw. The big story for me, Tuck, was actually someone who didn't bench, who didn't run the 40, but actually got hurt after 3 reps. Billy Price, the offensive guard / center, coming out of the Ohio State University, as I mentioned earlier, is hurt. Tore his pectoral, if I'm correct. What do you say for his draft stock? Not the craziest injury to have, but still out of the game for a minute. Ohio State's pretty good at putting some quality offensive linemen, just as the Big Ten. Patrick Elfin went to the Minnesota Vikings, and he ended up being a very strong piece of that offensive cog that they had. So I'm very curious to see what it means for Billy Price, viewed as a first-round pick.
I mean, he was viewed as Mayock had him, I think, at the top of the position.
Yeah.
And then just similarly, just because we're talking about top of the position, offensive lineman, Billy Price was projected obviously as a top guy. So let's start. Our boy Will Hernandez led the reps on the bench, and I don't think anybody's ran 40s yet. I don't think anybody's
no one.
That.
It was just bench today.
Right. So it was just bench. So Will Hernandez led the pack with 37.
Yes.
Then Pat, just to let you know, it was Quentin Nelson pumping out 35, Braden Smith also pumping out 35, and so everybody was expecting Billy Price to be right in that range, and so clearly he's not going to be able to perform the rest of the combine. I know when Charlie Casserly spoke about it, he was concerned. Mike Mayock never got on camera, but the running footers on NFL Network were that man. He was highly rated, and honestly, like just these numbers alone, I get that the combine's always kind of an overblown meat market kind of thing, but I think that it kind of speaks to that. We've actually got some quality talent here, and we've actually got a number of possible things to transpire in terms of offensive lineman talent, like we've been talking about past few episodes. There hasn't been a lot of people in the first round to go. And what do you have to say, Patrick?
The way I see the combine is that it means a lot for guys who are not first round picks day 1 and 2 picks. Now, the reason why I say that is because in 2007, there was a gentleman named Michael Allen. Michael Allen, I think, went to I don't even know what college he went to. I think it was the University of Wisconsin, maybe, but one of their minor schools, not Madison. And he was a 2007 guy. He was a tight end, Division III. No, he went to Whitworth, excuse me. He had such a great combine that he ran a 4.69 and a 4.71, put up a decent amount on bench press, and he snuck his way into the 6th or 7th round with the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's what the combine is going to do for a lot of these guys. It's going to take your fringe second round guys, push them in the round 1, your fringe third round guys, push them in the round 2, and that's the big thing. But at the same time, don't be showing up like Andre Smith and looking like a box of chewed up bubble gum, because then your stock drops. Because we all saw the Andre Smith leaving the combine, looking like taking his shirt off. Man, he looked like he looked
pretty soft.
Yeah, that's the best way to say. He looked like
me at my worst,
yeah,
stuff like that. So, Pat, can you tell the listeners a little bit more about anything you might happen to know about Quenton Nelson? I know as New Yorkers, we're always following the Notre Dame program to an extent. And then Braden Smith, you actually refreshed my memory right before the show. If I remember correctly now, he was a tackle, I believe.
Yeah, Braden Smith
for Auburn in the SEC.
Yeah, Braden Smith's an Auburn guy. He's a tackle. So the thing is with tackles is that I feel they're the safest pick in the draft, because if they don't work out at left, you move them to right. If they don't work out at right, you move them to left guard. And then if they don't work out at left guard, you move them to right guard. You can find a place for an average offensive tackle. Braden Smith is a 3rd round or 4th round pick. Now, doing that, he kind of boosts his status, saying, hey, I can hang with the big guys. And maybe, just maybe, with Billy Price being hurt, coaches don't want to deal with the injury. So they're going to kick it in, they're going to pay more attention. That means all these guys get more repetitions and whatnot. So that's a big thing. Braden Smith obviously having a good first day, putting up the 35 reps. Everyone's kind of, their eyebrows are like, okay, who's this kid? Putting the work in the weight room. And that's what these coaches want to see. They want to see hard work, and that's what the bench press means to me. So I think Braden Smith is doing a great job putting himself out there. Bruce Campbell, if you guys can remember, I believe he's a 2010 Maryland guy. He put himself in the conversation for a first-round pick, ended up getting drafted in the 3rd round, but went to the combine and absolutely beasted. Wasn't even talked about on the radar of being a draft pick until he went to the combine. And the great thing about Bruce Campbell was he was a workout warrior, put himself in the 4th round, ended up being, a very below average NFL career, but he still got to the dance and still got to play in some games. I think played with Carolina for a little bit.
I'm sorry.
No, man, and with our other boy, Quenton Nelson, how do we hate on Notre Dame linemen? Zach Martin coming out. Notre Dame's putting out some pretty decent linemen. And him to come out, he's doing what he's expected. He's a higher rated draft pick and whatnot. In the top 15, probably, I would say. I would say in the top 15. I know the Bears kind of have a little bit of an eye towards him. You put him in with Kyle Long, things start working, shore up that offensive line for Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen, as well as Mitchell Trubisky. and then you're looking at a decent team. So these are some things that the Bears look not the Bears, but Quinn Nelson is doing what he's supposed to do. And a lot of times when these guys they come out, they're supposed to. Everyone expects a certain amount of the numbers from them, and they have to be in the top 5 for every category, or they're aspiring to be. So Quinn Nelson is doing as is. I think my coaches always used to talk about it as doing your job. Do your job. And what's Quinn Nelson coming up to? He's expected to be a strong, nasty guard. He said he was a strong, nasty player. He's hard-nosed. A team like Chicago likes that. Bam. Throws up 35 reps on the bench press. Day 1 done. So I'm really excited to see what else Quinn Nelson can do. Runs anywhere between a 4.8 to a 5.1 40. Shows he's quick. And then just keep on doing what he needs to do. It's simple for the guys who are already rated, they're already rated. So it's real easy. It's easy as a relative term. But I'm excited to see what he can do. But it's really it. We also saw some other guys put up some decent numbers in the bench press. Colby Gossett, he is a day 3 guy putting up 32 reps, making himself in the conversation and whatnot. And Wyatt Teller from Virginia Tech, he put up. A couple guys didn't do so well. Orlando Brown coming off.
I'm interested about him out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, he only put up 14 reps.
I could have told you that.
So there's Tuck's
arch rival.
He's showing his Oklahoma State bias right there. Yeah, it's OSU. But woo, shoo what we do. But
that's enough of that.
Yeah, right.
So Orlando Brown actually, and I think that speaks more to the kid than anything else because, his dad, clearly tragically, his life was cut short, right? So
I believe so, yeah.
So that's a huge tragedy. So maybe that has something to do with, instilling the work ethic or not having the time or the relationship to be able to do that. But I mean, come on, you're at a high quality Division I program. You chose to go there when I believe his father didn't play there. I think he played elsewhere, either Texas or somewhere else. And don't quote me right now. My brain is not functioning. My mind's on a lot of other things. But luckily, the whole reason we're doing this show tonight is because, and I'm getting off topic a little bit, but my buddy Pat over here, he served our country well as a Marine. He served our country well in other capacities, and it's a very rare and special treat that he's home and we get to, even spend any time together, let alone, shoot the bull about sports and stuff like that. So back to Orlando Brown. I actually like the kid a lot. I've seen a lot of tape on him. I've seen him road grade, a ton against my squad, the Pokes, the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Don't get it twisted. That their offensive line has been able to produce quality running backs year after year. I don't think it's a running backs recruiting thing so much as it is a scheme and a philosophy over there at OU. And someday I'll tell everybody why Big 12 schools go OU, KU, things like that, as opposed to the way the actually moniker of the school is. But that's for a later date. Orlando Brown, I think he's one of those guys he's just one of those guys that just doesn't show up at the combine like you were talking about Andre Smith for the Bengals all those years ago, who I believe his contract is just recently up. Mr. Smith.
He went to his first contract was with the Bengals. I think he was the 7th or 10th pick overall.
Yeah, he was a high first round. Yeah.
He was definitely in the top 10. Kicked over to the Vikings for a year and then came back to the Bengals this year playing that right tackle. But man, so my heights. I am 5'7", 5'8" on a good day.
Ooh.
I'm about 205 to 215 pounds, depending on how much I'm drinking.
Well, that's right now. What were you your senior year in high school?
Oh, I was heavier.
Right,
I was-
because you were D lineman.
I was
more
playing. I
mostly.
was like between. I think I went into camp at 245. Probably left at 230.
Right.
But I had a
naturally.
knee injury and whatnot too.
Right. I mean, my senior year of high school, I went in there. At the time, the heaviest I ever was. So
Yeah.
it took me a lot of work to get up to 215 at 6 feet flat. And my position coach was joking about all the milk I was drinking and blah blah blah. But Pat, please go on.
And I was putting up probably 225 about between 8 and 9 times at 17, being maybe a half rep 10.
Right.
Now I'm putting it up 15, between 10 and 15 times.
Right, but you're now at an age where
I am.
Let's say you're redshirted freshman or
I'm
something.
4 years older than him, to be fair.
Okay, right. Okay.
But-
But yeah, it's all about growth. Yeah.
Not only that, he still has the frame a lot bigger than me.
Well, duh. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he's got more weight, all this good stuff. I'm disappointed because it shows that something was lacking in his training. Now, if he goes into the combine and he crushes every other drill, then it's easy. Then it's just a strength and conditioning issue. But if he lacks in everything else, then I'm like, hey, what's your training regimen like? He doesn't as the and Tuck, I'm ready to trigger you a little bit right now. The Big 12 isn't known for their defense, so.
Oh, really? I never heard that before.
Yeah, weird. They're playing 7-on-7.
I thought Justin Gilbert was like a shutdown corner in the league still. I must be mistaken.
Yeah, him and Patrick Peterson, obviously, but
Peterson. In any case, I mean, we don't play a lot of defense in the Big 12. We have shootouts every single week. That's how you win the Big 12.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield is literally projected to go in the top 10 now more than at the end of the season.
Well, that's a different. That's
a quarterback bias type of thing. But I'm talking about the fact that Baker Mayfield, he put on a clinic against my squad, the Pokes. He had over 500 yards passing that day. I can't even remember how many touchdowns because literally I think both quarterbacks had over 500 yards passing that day.
Well, it's kind of like even Mason Rudolph now is getting talked.
Well, he's the tied top 5 now. So it used to be like early second round. Now it's him and Lamar Jackson tied top 5.
It just depends. All it takes is one team to fall in love and they get scared that someone else is going to take them. Because I think that's what happened with Johnny Manziel, to be honest. I think that's what happened with
quarterbacks are a scarce resource, man. Supply and demand.
Well, John Elway, did you see what John Elway said today?
Not today.
He's just going to keep swinging and missing until he finds one.
Actually, I heard something to that effect. But Vance Joseph confirmed that to the media.
What do you feel about that? I know we're off the tangent, but we're still scouting players. We got about 20 minutes left, so let's get.
I mean, we can just kick it for a little bit. Please forgive my voice, listeners. I'm ill. It's been the worst virus season in record, especially in the Northeast. So
get your flu shots.
Yeah, seriously, if you haven't done that, I know we're practically past that, but still do it.
Yeah, vaccines help.
Especially with the flu.
Don't listen to the hippies and Christmas.
All right. Just go by CVS to see if they still have one. All right, because literally I got the last one at my local CVS, so that's what the situation is. In any case, regardless of the flu, I love the flu game. I'd like to drop 40 if I could, but where I'm going with this is Baker specifically. The reason I keep bringing him up is because it's no longer Charlie Casserly. It's no longer just Charlie Casserly. It's everybody else saying Baker to the Jets, and I it irks me to my core, but I get it. You want that gunslinger, that guy that can do it all. And where I'm going with this is there's always a quarterback bias in the draft. We all know that. If you're a listener, we know that. You probably want to not listen to me anymore because I sound like a box of tissues. But where I'm going with this is that we got to watch the film, right? The combine's great. I love the combine. There's nothing that makes me happier this time of year. I mean, spring training's great, but it's just getting started. It's still at the point where there's so many guys in that clubhouse and at the ballpark that you really have no idea who a lot of those guys are. So again, we'll try to talk baseball with some of our friends that are more equipped to talk baseball in the coming weeks. But shout out, shameless plug, Double AA Balls podcast. If you go check them out, literally it's just how I just said it, Double AA Balls, on YouTube. I don't know if they're on any other platforms right now, but they're like just like us, and they just happen to have had a lot more playing experience in certain things or whatever. So they're a good source for baseball stuff. We're kind of more focused on football. And so the reason why I think that I could have a right to talk about football at all is because A, anybody can talk about anything they want. B, I was a letterman in high school. I didn't get to start much. I never started a game. I got some reps and some snaps at my position. I was much more of a special teamer, my junior and senior year. But and I'm not ashamed to say those things at all. I'm very proud of my letterman, we didn't have jackets, but we got letterman certificates, and you only got those if you actually, for football specifically, that was a big deal. You only got a letterman certificate if you happen to have gotten on the field. So that's why we're the letterman jacket. Baker Mayfield may or may not go to the Jets. There's a lot of good quarterbacks. I hope Mason Rudolph bumps out Lamar Jackson for the first round. I just think he's more technically sound. I actually like Lamar Jackson to the Jets better than I like Baker Rudolph
in the second round.
I don't. Well, yeah. Granted, they're not gonna. Yeah, I mean, if they, I would be okay with them trading their second round pick to get into the back end of the first, something like that. But Pat, like I've got
Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard Jon Gruden talk as a Raiders head coach yet, you got to go do that. So, Pat, I've gotten really off topic.
Oh, totally.
Because I'm so sick and because I've got other things on my mind at home and other stuff. So why don't you bring us back and bring us home and let the listeners know what we're all about.
Well, I do want to talk about one thing I thought you were going to allude to, but you didn't. So the key is with Baker Mayfield, right? Is that if Baker Mayfield slips, everything in this quarterback era depends on really Josh Rosen, the Giants, how much Sam Darnold doesn't want to go to the Browns, and are the Browns comfortable with taking Josh Allen? So in my messed up world, my mind is if I'm the Browns, I don't take Sam Darnold. If I'm the Browns, I don't take Josh Rosen. I take Josh Allen. Not because I think he's the best, but because he's played in a cold environment at Wyoming. I also take him there because he'll be grateful to be there. Do I think it's the best quarterback in the draft? No, I don't. I think Sam Darnold is. I do think Baker Mayfield may be the best quarterback ready. I think he'll get you to 8-8, and then we might see some Kirk Cousins, maybe not numbers wise, but a Kirk Cousins win and loss record wise, teetering between 7-9 and 13-3. So I guess he's more like Phillip Rivers in that sense. But the key is that if these quarterbacks don't go where they're at, now everyone gets giddy. Now, are the Cardinals like, hey, man, we brought in Case Keenum on a 3-year deal, but, like, dude, it's the 8th pick. Mayfield's still there. Rosen's still there. Hell, the Darnold's still there. Because a lot of the worst teams have quarterbacks. Do the Giants want to go with Barkley? Okay, that kicks maybe Darnold and Rosen down. Do they want to, the luck is with the Colts. So that's where the quarterback issue will come in. But someone that the Giants should take, as I've said like 18 times, please take Saquon Barkley. Please take Saquon Barkley.
Pat's pick.
Take Mason Rudolph in the second round. Lamar Jackson. Anyone.
Anybody else, right?
Just Eli, do I think is the chosen one still? No. But you got Odell. You can run the drag routes. Davis Webb, if you want. Throw him out there. Throw it to the drag route. Odell will be okay. Sterling Shepard's good. You got Brandon Marshall coming back. Evan Ingram looks like a player. Shore up the offensive line. Take Saquon Barkley. And he put up 29 reps in the bench press, which, like I said, I don't really care.
That's a beast mode status for RB, dude.
Well, what's his name? McCaffrey put up 8. I think Fournette
McCaffrey's a work ethic guy. And I'm not trying to say that to be cliche, but McCaffrey is very much a work ethic guy. And Saquon is clearly very much the same way. I know on NFL Network, I didn't see whose it was. It might have been Charles Davis or one of their guys, but on the footer, the rolling footer, it said Saquon to the Giants, via NFL Network.
Well, Frank Gore is getting released. They're not re-signing him, so the Colts have the 3.
Marlon Mack's not the future there in that backfield. He's a complimentary third down type of guy.
So that's the key now is because if you're the Colts, if you're Ballard, you take Barkley. You take I think the Colts are in the position where they take the best player available.
Right, but don't the Colts and the Giants have a very similar set of problems in that they both need an O-lineman real bad?
Yeah, but Andrew Luck can carry a team a lot more than Eli Manning.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, Andrew Luck is mobile.
No, okay, that's true, but he's also gotten hurt almost every single year for maybe it's not an extended period of time, but
this year obviously he missed like 3 games in September in 2015. That was when we got to see Matt Hasselbeck come out, which was awesome because I forgot he was alive. Matt Hasselbeck.
Well, I just want to touch on one thing Pat said about Josh Allen's numbers, or Josh Allen being, obviously everybody knows that Josh Allen's a top quality first round guy. His film to me never looked great. His numbers through every game, I never was impressed. His last bowl game, I can't recall off the top of my head what it was, but I remember looking and it was like 55 or 56% completion percentage.
Played well in the Senior Bowl.
The Senior Bowl, that's where I said to myself, man, some team's gonna fall in love with him. Like the Browns, like
it's a very Browns move.
It's a very Browns move to meet up with that kid at the combine and say, wow, hey Josh, here's all our tough questions. Here's the toughest plays in our playbook, or something similar to not give everything away. It would be very Browns-esque.
It would behoove of them.
That's an SAT word for you.
Shout out Richard Carroll.
Richard Carroll. Check out wow. Yeah. We'll talk about him later. But in any case, we're talking combine. We're talking everything. We're talking football. We're still trying to get better. I believe we have a Patreon set up. So
yeah, we set up a Patreon, guys. Really trying to improve the quality, get some guests on. Tyler Bray, if you're listening, check your Instagram inbox. Hit up Tyler Bray. Hit up Trevor Knight.
Is that even legal?
Yeah. Why not?
I guess it is. Well, they're pros. Yeah, they're all pros. We're good. All right. So, actually do hit us back, please. Because obviously I overthink everything. But so Tyler Bray, please hit us back because we love you.
I love you, Tyler Bray.
Yeah, he does. So, one last thing I want to say, obviously that was a shameless plug for financial support, but and Tyler Bray as well. But outside of all that, on a real note, I want to offer, and I know Pat wants to offer as well, our thoughts and prayers to Jim Kelly and his whole family. The news was broken recently that Jim Kelly's cancer is no longer in remission and has returned. So he's back in that fight. We know he will fight to the core, and he'll do his best. And no matter what happens, he's been an inspiration to all of us. So to the Kelly family from the Letterman Jacket, we love you, and sending our thoughts and condolences, or that's not the right word, but thoughts and prayers. So, and then finally, we just want to thank everybody for continuing to listen. We do like just every comment, every feedback, positive, negative, hot take, freezing take, whatever you got for us. And Pat, why don't you take us out?
Yeah, guys. Once again, to reiterate what Tuck said, really appreciate the support you guys have been giving us every day, every episode. We get 1 or 2 new subscribers. We had a decent amount of listens on our last episode. I think we were at like 130 or something like that. So really appreciate that, guys. Working on getting this on iTunes. Obviously, the quality is getting a little bit better here and there. Any improvements, guys, let us know. If you want to hear more Combine talk, less Combine talk, either way, we're just blessed to be able to do this because why not? It's 2018. We have the opportunity. Also, once again, a huge shout out to our sponsor tonight, which is, as they are every night, Kilo Charlie Clothing, veteran owned and operated out of St. Louis, Missouri. Check out their operator gear, check out their patches, and they're also doing some custom shirts. If you guys want some custom designs done, they'll do it for you. So with that being said, guys, good night. Sleep tight, and don't let Saquon Barkley bite, I guess. I don't know, but it sounded good, right? Good night, everyone.
We are
Penn State.